What up, Pittsburgh Steel fans? It's Matty P here with another episode of Steelers War Room. We've kept this show on the quiet, with it being the dog days of summer, bringing back the War Room series for you starting this week. Obviously, in the last sort of few hours, it was about 15 minutes ago for me in Australia, that the Pittsburgh Steelers announced that they'd signed Alex Highsmith on38 ESPN had an article out a little while ago that said it was a 4-year deal, 68 million. 39 million, sorry, 38 million, 68 million over the 4, 38 million over 2, guarantees of 27.7 million. Now, remember, that's merely from the Steelers through that's through the signing bonus that they give. The Steelers don't guarantee contracts. Now, that total $68 million. I said there's another show which we'll link for you as well at the end of this. It will link straight to you there. I did a 20-minute episode about 2 weeks ago now on what Alex Highsmith's contract could look like. And we're going to bring up a couple of numbers from those, but I really compared that to a few edge rushers. Look, he's ended up pretty good. I didn't think he was going to get anything more. Thought the sort of range was about 64 million per year. So that's 16 million to about 72 million, which is about like 18 million. So somewhere it was going to fall within that $2 million range. I didn't think it was going to be much below 15.8 million. But the guy only has like about 25 sacks. Great player. Love him. Great that he can be a Steeler there opposite TJ Watt now. 2 pass rushes to get this team to a Super Bowl in the next few years when Kenny Pickett's on a rookie deal. I love it, but he's not a $20 million a year player. So it's 68 million. That's about 17 million per year over the 4. This is what I said when I did the show as well, and we're bring up those numbers, is that it's kind of a 4-year extension. So it might be a 5-year deal, but it's a 4-year extension. So be careful about how people are phrasing this. This is for 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027. Lockdown there. They're the 4 years. He's still on his rookie deal this season, but he will have a higher cap number because they're going to bring forward some of that bonus as well, because you pay that there. So depending on how they've done this financially, we'll see that over the next few days, maybe even week, and how that's particularly done with the finer points with that. It's why they've not maybe done a few things and had cap number. Before this move, they had double the cap if they restructured contracts. So don't worry about, the Steelers can't sign this guy now. If he comes available, the Steelers can. The Steelers have money. Now, as I said, Steelers ended up, Alex Highsmith ended up pretty well there. If you look at the 27.7 million, that's roughly about 7.88 million per year in the roster bonus side of things. So he's done pretty well there. Now, the number for the first 2 years of the deal, as I said, is 38 million. So if you halve that 50-50, that would be 19 per each year. It's probably bigger in the other year because you're going to have Cam Hayward off. You're going to have a few other guys off contract. The dead cap that they've got right now is like in the 14 million mark. They're not going to have that money too. The salary cap goes up. And I did a show a few weeks back that talked about the dollars and cents of the Steelers roster. And one of the things that Omar Khan's done with the financial brain in mind is he's actually, if you look at the way deals are being constructed now, it did happen before when Kevin Colbert was GM. It happens more now with Khan, where he basically lets the cap grow and then increases certain players' percentage of that cap. That's smart, because then you're letting the cap pay for the increase in them. You're not actually increasing certain percentages that certain players take up of the cap, which means that you've got sustainability in the finances behind your roster. But as I said, Alex Highsmith, I had him so anywhere, as I said, between about 63, 64 million and the 68 million. So it'll be interesting to see, as I said, the fine points of how this contract and the details of how it's being constructed. But I did want to show you some numbers that we did have in our original video. These are some ones I did for this year because you do bring the bonus forward as well. But basically, I had him on a $20 million signing bonus, more on the guarantees, because I had him on some prorated bonuses, which in the way this works is on over the cap when you do the contracts. Non-prorated bonuses like a roster bonus, a performance bonus, for example. So when I did the show, and you can go back and listen to that, and I said I'll provide a link, I talked about there being potentially like you do a roster bonus for making the roster in 2027. Maybe you do it in 2026 as well. Maybe you do a performance, like if you get over 10 sacks each year, that's what you're going to get. So this totaled up to about 69 million, provided my quick maths was correct. But 3.5 of that was basically in those roster bonuses there. So I had him getting a little bit more, but I also had it a bit differently to how this contract has been reported as of when I go live with this video. Maybe it looks something more like this, but because he has a higher signing bonus, I don't think so. I think they've probably just literally gone base salary, signing bonus. And that's pretty cool. Now, remember, they can also extend this out toward the end. They can restructure it down the end. It probably in 3 or 4 years' time is not going to look exactly like obviously these numbers are going to be different because I've got 20 million, not 27.7 million, but the numbers are going to probably change over the course of that contract and how that looks. But it's a really good deal for Alex Highsmith. You've got a guy coming off 14.5 sacks at 17 million a year. He had almost 10 sacks a year before. This is really good. If you can get 10 double-digit sacks out of Alex Highsmith at 17 million a year, that pays for itself. I tried a few years ago to work out how many millions a sack is worth, or even $500,000 a sack's worth. That's a very hard number to equate, but if you can get 10 sacks at 1.7 million plus everything else he does, I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, Steel fans, let me know what you think in the comments of this deal of keeping Alex Highsmith. Would you have done it? Would you have not? But yeah, I'm pretty happy. Like anything between that 64 to 70 million range was good. I didn't want to see over 72 million. I think 68 million is a really fair number. And you keep a good, hard worker who knows where he's come from, who knows how he's developed. He comes from good stock. Dad sounds like a great guy from everything I've seen. And I'm sure the rest of his family is. And he's performing for the Steelers, and he fits into the Steelers mentality. And that's all you can ask for in this day and age, particularly if he's performing. With that, as always, go Steelers.